What's going on, everyone? I'm going to be talking about something that's on my mind this evening. So, one of the things that I find myself contemplating is that it goes back to saving. It goes back to not so much even saving, just a psychological mindset. And that psychological mindset is delusional optimism. What do I mean by delusional optimism? And why does this relate to the topic of this video? The biggest financial mistake ever. So basically, a lot of times what people do is basically, in short, they spend their money down to zero. Okay, let's just say you get a paycheck, $1,200, $1,500, whatever your paycheck is, whatever money you get, you spend it down to zero. I call it financial suicide or physical suicide with the FISCAL. This is a habit. This is a bad habit that I learned this actually from primarily from my mother. But a lot of people have this habit. And it might be something that it's just how we feel, maybe something that is is something that I don't know. Maybe I want to say in our DNA. I mean, because we come from a land of abundance. We come from, you know, you know, pretty much the Fertile Crescent. We all come from the Fertile Crescent, but basically, some have more connection to the Fertile Crescent than others. Like what I mean by the Fertile Crescent is Africa. Africa is pretty much have most of the minerals on planet Earth that is needed for the building blocks of society of everything that you want to accomplish. Whatever you know you need to build a telescope, to build a satellite, cell phone, computer, is all of that is right there. Fruit, food. I mean, just it's a land of abundance. So I think maybe in contemplation, that's how I think about, like, well, why don't, because this is actually something that I observed when I had my business. When I actually started business, when I started selling computers, and I started off in my grandmother's basement, and then I went to the flea market, then I went to open an actual store. And I'm not going to cap and say that I was successful all the time I was doing that. I actually technically kind of, I don't want to say I cheated. I didn't cheat, but you kind of supposed to scale, right? And I didn't necessarily scale when I started my computer store, in the south side of Chicago. I didn't scale up. I just basically just did it. I just, you know, did it on the strength that I knew I could do it. And it was like kind of an egotistical thing, even because it was like, a lot of the people that was in the flea market that I knew, one of the things that I have to admit, in hindsight about selling in the flea market and stuff like that. I mean, we had like in the flea market, a lot of people probably didn't know. I used to sell computers at a flea market. If you're in the south suburbs of Chicago, if you've been to this flea market, you already know what I'm talking about. It's called Swaparama in Alsip, Illinois. We had we had in this flea market it was like a cartel. It was like a computer cartel. We all knew everybody that was selling computers there. We all knew each other. We had each other, kind of similar to what people do on YouTube. I mean, we all knew where each other lived. All of the guys that sold computers, we all traded computers with each other. We bought computers from each other. We knew we had each other's number. We went to each other's houses. I mean, like at the same time we were competing with each other. I ain't gonna lie to you, because of just how I lived my life and the things that I knew, or let's just say the things that I didn't know, and just kind of how I was able to just deal with life and stuff. I was trying to do the best I could at the time, but a lot of things I just didn't know, and I might have been behind other people. I didn't do none. I was the worst computer seller out of all of the guys that basically that sold computers at the flea market. I didn't make hardly that much money as they did. Um, One of the guys that was like a really good friend of mine, um, he was sitting on stacks. Like, I don't know how much money he had, but he was like he was the freaking Kobe Bryant of computers in the flea market. And we had a falling out over some petty shit, but I just kind of I kind of see it, kind of like I saw he was kind of like using me, kind of in a way. He was a Pisces. He just like to use people or whatever. And I was like, this dude's kind of like, kind of flaky. I was like, whatever. But I mean, I learned quite a bit, man, from the guy. I mean, sometimes you take the good and the bad from people. I know people will be like, probably don't like me, but sometimes you got, take the good and the bad of a person. You know, nobody's perfect, but yeah, this dude he was very, very successful. He was doing the right things. He was very smooth in his operation, and he made a lot of money selling computers. You know, and basically also, uh, he would. What's going on, Alonzo? Salute. I mean, he was. To be honest, it's funny how Alonzo came in the chat. He was like Alonzo, but he was refined. He was like, man, I don't. I mean, dude was probably sitting on like at least 50 racks, 100 racks. And actually, he used to sell dope too. He used to sell dope too. This dude, man, was, a lot of times, this is like, okay, a lot of times women, and we used to have the same thing. Like, he was a, he was an intelligent thug. Like that's one thing if you notice about me, probably probably some women pick it up or whatever. Yeah, I'm an intelligent thug, pretty much. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't thug it out, but I mean, some people will be like, "Oh, you're a nerd." But not really. I'm not really I'm not I'm probably, you know, not a nerd like in the sense that you can like come up on me and give me a wedgie and throw me in a locker. You know, you if you probably try to do that, I probably, fuck you up really bad. Like I'm not that type of like intelligent person. Like, you know, if that rings a bell or whatever. But he was even more of a thug than I have because I ain't never sold no packs. I ain't never sold no motherfucking white, no hard white, no brown, none of that shit. I probably sold like a couple bags of weed. My heyday of selling, you know, scheduled drugs that, primarily weed is a push to be legal across the, country. But yeah, dude used to sell weight. He told me he's like, to sell weight. But yeah, he was very disciplined, man, and money. He had, and actually, it's funny that Alonzo was here. He told me, it's like, man, I'm gonna be a millionaire because basically his stepfather set him up with an annuity. He had an annuity that he was feeding. I ain't seen this dude in a minute. I would not be surprised at all this dude was a multimillionaire. I mean, I would not be surprised. But I say all of that to say that he was probably the person that should have started a computer store, not me, because I was getting by. I was like really, really broke. I was living in an apartment. Honestly, I just got evicted from my apartment. Okay, and then I came back and I basically let me turn some lights on here. I got myself back to on my feet and work. I started working at the Chicago public schools system, and I saved up a little money and I started a store. But I did that on the strength that's like, man, you know what, man, forget the flea market. I'll just be the king on the mountain right now. I know I could do it. I already had the understanding from my grandfather, and then boom, I did it. But I was struggling even in my computer business because it was a certain level that I did not deal with, and it was a certain level that I'm still trying to deal with, and I'm trying to help you with, and that is this delusional optimism, spending your last money, not saving. That's why I started the Millionaire Savings Plan. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I basically um emphasize saving, 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 saving. Because if you don't have no money, you can forget trying to buy a house, you can forget trying to, you know, invest in anything or start a business. Well, how you think you're gonna get a business off the ground? What do you need to start a business? You need money to make money. You need money to start a business. Where is that money going to come from? I don't want to hear no. If I had $1 for every time I heard some black dude or talk about, man, I would start a business, but I I didn't get a grant. I'm waiting for a grant, or I need somebody to write a grant. No, that ain't usually how you start a business off of a grant. Most people that started a business, they use their money or they use some type of business loan to start the business, or some investors, usually family, sometimes rarely an angel investor. Even though, yeah, black businesses only get 1% of angel investment. 1%. So you could just for you as far as my little startups, I can forget any type of angel investment, other than finding the white boy, the white dude at the bar somewhere in Indiana that is a millionaire. That was the only person that I know that would have given any type of money, and I would have had to deal with all kind of racist epithets and jokes and shit like that to get the money. But he was the only person I met yet that is capable of offering any type of money. That ain't even an angel investor. It's just a bar buddy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even consider that an angel investor. So it's like it's very very rare that you get any funding. Most of the businesses they start off bootstrapped. They come from the money that the person that started the business, basically his own funding. So, the thing is that back to the delusional optimism, I'll just tell you, it's a very strong chance that optimism that you have ain't gonna happen. I every time I think, oh yeah, it's gonna be great, it's going to be grand. Oh yeah, I'm gonna, you know, I'll have the Taj Mahal in 12 months. Don't happen that way. It just doesn't. Usually how it goes down is that sensation of optimism, it feels good. It's like a high almost. It's like, yeah, abundance. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, I'm gonna have everything. But then reality comes. It does not go down like that. Thankfully, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I'm not delusional to just basically just do dumb shit like rent an apartment for 5 years, sign a lease for an apartment for 5 years in a market, in a real estate market that you can totally afford to get a mortgage, like the Midwest. Any family members that you know that rent, that live in the Midwest, that they're above the age of 30 and they've been renting long term, your family member is a dumbass. You could tell them to go to my page and rewatch this video. You know why? It's because other markets, I can see if I went to go, live where Alonzo's from in New York, yeah, I'll be renting. I'll probably even have a roommate. I understand it, I understand California's market to a certain extent, in New York and even New Jersey for that matter, or other parts of the East Coast and shit like that. But in this market in the last like 4 years, you could have fucking bought a house anywhere. Like you could have spent around and pointed your finger, and it was like basically if you had enough credit or whatever, you could have bought a property, and then that would have been it. Whether you got a mortgage, or if you had enough cash, like if you'd have had $30,000, you could have bought a decent house. Get Uncle Peanut and Uncle Larry to help you fix it up. Every family has handyman that they know to help them fix up properties. and then had a freaking 2 3 year renovation going on while you're living with your mom, or you might have to move back in with your mom or whatever, or your sister. I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Probably have enough money to just stay at the apartment or whatever for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Or you get the house habitable first and then you can move in it. But all of this was totally doable. If my broke ass could have did already did it, could have did it or whatever, that I did it, I know. I know you other people could have done it. You know why I know? In the last 10 years, you know what the fuck I went through? I mean, literally the stuff that I've told you that I went through is way more that I went through, and way worse that I went through, that you don't even know. I pretty much I'm I ain't tell you every goddamn thing that I went through, but I went through a fucking lot of shit that a lot of people didn't go through. I mean, you had people that have been consistent for probably 10, 15 years. Yeah, life happens. Mom dies, dad dies, or grandma dies, sisters, brother, cat, dog, whatever. I mean, life happens, right? Lose your job or get sick and shit. But I guarantee you, a lot of you ain't went to jail. you ain't went to you ain't went to county. You weren't stuck in county for a month or two or longer, or you know, um had to file bankruptcy or anything like that. Some people didn't even go to college, so you don't got no student loans. So how in the hell can you explain the fact that you chose to be a long-term renter in the Midwest? Yeah, I'm shitting on everybody in the Midwest just about. I mean, especially especially if you're like, I'm talking about people that make at least $50,000 or more. You know what I'm saying? Like, my folks or whatever, right? People that I know. Yeah, you're an idiot. Whether, and then don't give me no excuse talking about, oh, I'm a single mom, or no, you're a single loser. You should have kept your dude. Because that's another thing that I'm pissed off about too. I'm not pissed off about it, but I'm gonna tell you, this is a PSA announcement. If all the people, I would say 18 to 48 years old, if you ain't had no daddy around or whatever, your mom told you your daddy left, whatever, and you ain't investigate. First of all, I would say investigate if you can. You got ancestry.com. You can very much, you know, find out who your daddy is, or possibly who your kin folks is, by DNA matches. DNA investigations is more easier now than ever. And then you can find out if your mom was lying to your ass, because a lot of you are walking around with uh generational curses, and being pissed off at men, black men, because your dad wasn't around and you haven't dealt with your daddy issues. Okay. And then you got all of these damn impudent looks that you give off, and you hate men because your daddy wasn't around. Well, even if you found out your daddy was a piece of shit that just literally did abandon your mom, and she was right, it's not your fucking job to be pissed off at every fucking man that you see, or primarily black man that you see above the age of fucking 15, because you ain't had your daddy around. Feel free to clip this shit and put it on every fucking thing you want to, because I'm tired of this shit. As a a person that went to school for sociology, this is a societal issue And I'm fucking pissed off about. And I really haven't really addressed it. But yes, it's fucked up. Your daddy left you. And I can't relate to that. And he didn't come back or whatever. I mean, but at the end of the day, can't blame every fucking person for your problems. Do some fucking push-ups and remind yourself how life is fucking hard. Do about 10 push-ups so you can remind yourself how life is fucking hard. And then when you're done with those 10, do another 10 till you get it locked in how life is hard. And you gotta fucking either deal with it or I don't know, man. I ain't trying to tell you to don't go do anything else. And then yeah, if you find out your mom was lying to you, I mean, don't don't fucking, you know, beat your mom up or kill her. And, you know, don't do that. Because at the end of the day, she gonna start crying when you find out she's been lying, and she's already gonna feel the pain when she's crying and shit like that. Cause you gonna find out she's lying ass bitch for whatever 20, 30, 40 years, and then you go talk to your father, and then basically next time you see her, she's gonna be humbled as fuck, because you found out about her lying ass. That's all. It's all. It's gonna go down like that. Or if she's cold hearted, she's just gonna be cold hearted. But she's gonna be thinking about it. The fact that she got caught lying, and especially lying for decades at a time or whatever. But now that we got that PSA out the way, back to delusional optimism and the millionaire savings plan. Purchase it on Amazon.com. That definitely helped me out with my delusional optimism, because at the end of the day, I I got that was how I was able to get that in check to a point where, okay, I still am working on the delusional optimism, but yeah, I'm following the millionaire savings plan, so I can actually um have something to that I can call my own to save me, um you know uh in this life, you know because yeah, it that has been a game changer for me. That's my personal financial bible that I go to, and I wrote that for everyone. And it's like I said, it's on my website brokegeniuses.com and amazon.com. Okay, and it's in the description of every one of my videos. Now, um the delusional optimism is, you got $10 and you just say, "Ah, fuck it, I'll go get a fucking Happy Meal at McDonald's." I'm broke as fuck, and then I just I'll just go down to zero. That's the problem. And I'll be honest. I mean, that's a issue that is financial suicide, because you're basically saying that even if you know you're gonna make some money tomorrow, or you pretty sure, okay, yeah, I can make some money, I'll make some money tomorrow, it's okay. And most of the time that happens, you do make some money tomorrow. But it's times that, a lot of times, that money that you do make tomorrow ain't what you thought it was going to be. And it's been many cases, I'm sure you had this too, where you did make that money. So that delusion, that optimism, that level of optimism was delusional. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm basically talking about. I mean, it's at the end of the day, a lot of people from other countries that were, in poverty and shit like that, living in huts and living in, places where there's no sewage system, no water system. They're ingrained to not think that way. When they come over here, they don't have that delusion of optimism. They didn't walk 20 miles to get water. They done had to, go in the bush and kill an animal or two or some, um, I mean, it's something that definitely, um, it comes. A lot of people have over here, and like I say, a lot of black people do spending the black people spending habits. I can tell you, black people spending habits. I've had, like I said, I've been in business for a long time. Black people will spend their last, and I'm talking about even in situations where you're about to get evicted. I mean, but one thing I will say, black people do have a level of optimism that it usually does work out, right? But it does go to a certain extent where it does not work out, and that's what I'm talking about. Where when it does not work out, that's a problem. And black people have a lot of faith. We've been through so much and we've overcome so much. It's like almost automatic. It's like, yeah, I'll get through. But I want you to not think that way. And the reason why is because I want you to, instead of spending that $10, you know, going all in on a number seven, just buy a couple, McChickens or some shit. I mean, moderation, $3 meal or something. You know, I mean, because it's like if you don't leave yourself something for the next day, because in theory, this is how it's supposed to work. That $10 really you shouldn't even spend. And if you got $10 and that's it, you only got $10. That's $10 to your name. You already in the point where you are in a financial emergency. Honestly, you're in a financial emergency if you have anything less than $1,000 savings. You're in a state of financial emergency. The freaking I'm talking about, the light should be going off like I mean, you should be calling everybody that owe you money. you, Everybody that owe you a favor. Like, you should be cold calling. Like, I mean, you got a business. I mean, you should be doing that already, but you should be like, man, it's panic mode, because that's just basic. That's like every financial expert tells you, okay, save at least $500, $1,000 for emergency. You don't even have that. That's a state of actual financial emergency. So if you got $10, that's like you're in the desert, you have like one sip of water. That's the equivalent of that. And it's like, yeah, in theory, you should save the $10, drink some freaking, I mean, eat some oatmeal, and then the next day, freaking, you got $20. Because if it's a situation where the only thing you could do is make $10 a day, you got $20 the next day, then you got 30, 40, 50. You see where I'm going with this? Because you initially kept that same energy with that $10. And that's all. That's basically all I'm saying in a nutshell. I'm not, what I'm saying, going too hard in the paint about that. It's just basically, this is a conversation that I had with my uncle. Uh, my uncle is probably the most financial successful person in the family, and he's a miser. He saves everything almost he can. I mean, he ain't perfect, but he don't speak, definitely don't spend his last. And the reason why he don't spend his last, he was homeless. The '70s and shit. And he's kicked out the house. He was homeless, man. He has a level of he went through a level of pain, financial pain of not having no money that a lot of people really haven't never had. Like, once you get Like some of the greatest people that I listen to today, they were they were homeless for a period of time. They went through a level of hardship that they never forget how important money is. Some people just never had that level of hardship. They never went there. They always had, like myself, I've always had some family that I can go to avoid trying to sleep in a car or sleep in a park bench. You know, I mean, fortunately, my family was able to be a crutch when I needed it. But some people they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Some people got kicked out the house and that was it. And it's like once you go through that, you understand, man, okay, this is a serious situation because if I would have had this dollar amount of money, I got kicked out. Okay, I just go get a hotel room for a month or two and I'm fine, you know. You know what I'm saying? So versus I get kicked out and I got $10. Fuck am I gonna do with $10? Hotel prices now, everything is skyrocketing as far as prices. This is ugly. This thing is nasty right now. Hotel prices, like to get a fucking Motel 6, a fucking Roach Motel, is like $100. And this is in the Chicagoland area. $100 to get a Motel 6, Motel 8, or Super 8, which is the flea bag. These hotels are flea bag. They're mite infested hotels, and they're $100 a night. They used to, like, because I was hotel hopping about a year and a half ago. These same hotels you can get them like $60 a night, the most 70. They night like $100 like right now because it's the prices are up for everything. Like they just capitalizing on it or whatever. So just think, ain't everybody gonna be able to afford that $100 price? Car prices are up too. I mean, shoot, it's like everything is up. This message is urgent because it might be able to save your life. This live stream is gonna save somebody's life, their financial life, like literally. Because if there's ever a time to not be financially delusional, it's right now. It's basically a time to, like I said, start off with a change jar, Hinkley and Schmidt jar. You ain't like people that talk about, oh, I ain't got no money to save. Okay, get you a Hinkley and Schmidt jar, throw some change at it, and then if you ain't even got a Hinkley and Schmidt jar, get a Crown Royal. You know what I'm saying? my ex company that I used to work for, an old Crown Royal bag. Ask grandma about the Crown Royal bag. Granddad, get you a Crown Royal bag, man. You know what I'm saying? And start there. Then after that, shit, get you a little safe and don't say shit about it. And then throw some fucking, got some couple dollars or something, throw it in the safe when you get in the house. And don't say no, don't even let nobody know you gotta save, even your own kids, even your own people in your family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I just can't say it enough. Don't even tell nobody. Don't even shit. Don't even know that don't have anybody even think that you have a safe. And throw some money in there when you get to the point where your change is good. And then stop spending money. I mean, literally, like, you just got to look at it like this. Even like what you're saying, if you're saying I don't have any money to spend, you maxed out. That's not true, because if you got a consistent income where it be a typical paycheck, and you just saying I'm maxed out, right? I'm paying everything, right? Well, if you already maxed out, that means you already maxed out. So that means that something is coming up missing. You might as well just start like saving. Like, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, you got like, if you maxing out, let's just say you maxing out $1,500. You might want to start maxing out 1,300 and saving $200 of, just basically just for an emergency or whatever, to just stop that check. Like, the thing about the one of the positive things about the millionaire savings plan exit of being a millionaire, trying to be a millionaire, it'll stop the check lifestyle immediately. I mean, because when you starting to save money, I mean, as far as to get out, like most people have debt, you start your debt snowball or whatever, you get yourself to a point where, watch my video as far as uh the uh, prerequisites of the millionaire savings plan. Get yourself to where you're able to start the program or the plan, and once you start the plan, you're going to break that check to check lifestyle on the first step. I mean, that's one of the good things about this plan, is that you literally are going to kill that check to check lifestyle out the gate. So once you do that, you'll start to notice how your life changes after you get further along. And like I say, this works on low income to high income. It is not, it's not income related. I mean, I've used this when I made the least amount of money, and I've used it when I made a lot of money. I mean, obviously, the more money you make, the better. But it works if you, no matter how low of the income you actually make, because at the end of the day, you can, pretty much get some money saved to where you could just feed the goal, so you can get to that step that you want to get. And it's countless people that they don't really make that much, but they have a lot of cash saved. They have a lot of actual, money. Like, it's just countless people that you all know somebody that makes less than somebody else, but they got way more stuff to show for themselves, is even money, than other people that make way more than them, because a lot of people live check to check. And it's like, you can make 200, like, it's people that make over $250,000 a year, and they still live check to check. It's because you're maxed out, your lifestyle is maxed out, basically. Like, a lot of times, that's what it comes down to. Like, it's a certain level of minimalism that, a lot of times people talk about. I don't talk about it much. I'm not a minimalist, but that's something that is something to look into. But that's where that comes into play, where you are maxing out your lifestyle for whatever reason. I'm not even going to go into that. But maxing out your lifestyle puts you in a situation where you don't have no money left to save. It's like, you want to be a poor man living in a rich neighborhood, or a rich man living in a poor neighborhood. It's like, obviously, you have more money left over if you live in a poor neighborhood and you're rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's just, you know, I might be explaining it wrong, but basically, if you live in a neighborhood that does not cost that much, you can save more than trying to live in a neighborhood that costs a lot for whatever reason. And then, it just, expenses alone, like your car, All that other stuff, like a lot of people just max stuff out and they ain't got no money left. And then that goes all over the place. It goes into crime, it goes into, scamming, defrauding. There's a lot of negatives with that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, comes down to just kind of making lifestyle changes. Because a lot of times, like, here's the deal. This is the funny thing. Like, this is a funny thing about the American dilemma of relationship issues, right? Most typical guys, they have, a place to live. You know, they have whatever they have, right? It's really is this country still has a lot of resources, money and stuff like that, right? Most the average guy has a place to live and stuff like that, right? So it's like women will say also, no man will take care of me, or some guys not gonna take care of me, but that's some bullshit because I mean, like I'm saying, just an average guy, the average guy has a place to live. You could just literally live with the guy, you know, and he could take care of you. But the thing is, where it becomes another problem, and it goes into lifestyle. Let's say let's say somebody they have a house in Detroit. It's paid for and everything, right? It is like it's Detroit, right? The bad part of Detroit, right? Or I don't know if there's good parts of Detroit. I don't know. Whatever. And you like the guy, and then of course, and if you gonna live with him, you gotta follow his rules and follow the hierarchy, right? You don't want to do either one of those because you're so used to your high lifestyle, living in your apartment and traveling and this bullshit and that bullshit. And it's like, you know, you can live with somebody else and everything like that, but you don't want to because you have this lifestyle that you want someone to really um match you on, or really fund your lifestyle or keep it going and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean that basically is a lot of it. That's a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just it's goofy. It's a lot of goofiness out here. Um, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of guys that probably can't. They don't have a place that basically of their own. And they're not able to do that. But the average guy has a place to live, man, even if it's just an apartment. So, it just goes into trust issues and shit like that. But that's a whole nother, topic for another day. But yeah, it's delusion, man. It's it goes into another thing. It's like you gotta, the way I look at it is you gotta support your people, man. You gotta support your black business owners. Um, that's where that goes into too with the spending money thing. You breaking your neck to buy Happy Meals. Okay, well, I mean, I know there's no McDowell's around, right? But it's a dude that selling hamburgers, man. Is a black couple or something. They got some hamburger joint or sandwich joint or whatever. They need some support. And you going to sit in the fucking drive through and goddamn it, getting getting space burgers that 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 you come back 10 years and the burgers ain't got they got so much preservatives on it that basically there's no mold on the hamburger or anything. Like I never forget, it's a story that okay, So one of my cousins, man, it's like one of my cousins, whatever. He's cleaning something out of the garage or whatever, and it was a Popeyes bag in the I think we was like opening up. It was like a microwave or something, and it was a Popeyes bag in the microwave, and it is I don't know how long this Popeyes was in this microwave in the garage, right? And when we opened it, it didn't have any mold on the chicken. It was like some leftover chicken in the microwave. It didn't have no mold. It looked like just like the chicken that you have, like if you know ate some Popeyes the next day out of the fridge. And it's like this is what you're waiting in the drive through for, and you know spending your money on, and it's like you wonder why Ming Lee and them at the hair beauty um store, you know, nail supply store got so much money, you know, and it's like it's because of you. That's why they got so much money. See, this is what I know about what I know about business, what I know about having an actual storefront and shit like that. You folks bite off your nose to spite your face, and you wonder why people look at you as a disgrace. I'm gonna just leave it with that.